Well, whatever brings out our best.
Yeah,
Whatever brings
absolutely.
out our best. I
All right.
love it.
I'll intro you in and then we'll just rip.
Okay, beautiful.
All right. Welcome in to the 500th episode of the Washed Up Walk-Ons podcast. A momentous day, really. We weren't sure if we'd make it to 5 episodes or 50 episodes, but here we are at 500. Our guest on the show today, former Hawkeye tight end from right at the beginning of the KF era. He won the Mackey Award before getting drafted 24th overall to the Colts, spent most of his career, decade plus, in Indianapolis, a bunch of other cool stuff, Super Bowl champion, but most importantly, this is a man who stays true to his word, because last summer he stood outside a meeting room in the Vanderbilt football complex over a smorgasbord of Chipotle that was being served at tight end U.
It was.
And he told us to our face on camera that he would make the 500th show appearance. And here he sits. Dallas Clark, welcome to the show.
What is going on, boys? Let's go. Let's freaking go. This is okay. So I mean, like Billy Joel has like in Madison Square Garden, he has like a banner that's like 40 straight sellouts. Like what I mean, I am honored. Like 500. Like I don't know whether to be honored or disappointed that like there's 499 people more important than me, or you're just holding out and waiting and hoping to make 500 extra special. Which one is it? I don't know.
Yeah. So, okay. Good point.
I mean, I hate to put you on the spot, right? I mean, hell of an introduction. I appreciate it, Tyler. That was money. Spot on.
Thank you. How do we answer that? Well, I'll say this. Not every show has had a guest. So
okay.
I'll say half of those episodes were just us on here trying to fill airspace and just sounded stupid. Okay. So maybe only 200 or 250 guests before you.
Wait, by the way, it's not sounding stupid. It's smoke and mirrors. It's just fooling the audience. It's not sounding stupid. It's just fooling the audience. Giving a little nuggets,
And when we started this thing and we actually got to 100 episodes, we decided, dang, we should probably have like somebody big for episode 100, right? We hadn't had nobody big at that time. I mean, we had Anger on for an episode. We had Josie on for an episode, but that was like early on when we were just exhausting all of our immediate friendships. Like, hey, you have to come on this show. And so we got George on for episode 100, right? We got Kittle. And then we got to we got to 200 and we're like, okay, we got to continue this sort of, and this actually segues well into one of my questions. We're like, we got to stay in the Iowa legend sphere here. So I think for 200, we got Drew Tate.
Ooh.
And then for 300, we had Ricky Stanzi. And for 400, who do we have for 400?
It was George again.
I think we did George again.
We had George again.
Running back. I mean, heck yeah.
Just milking that cow for what it's worth.
We got a short roster over here, Dallas.
Well, here's the thing. I bet it was a complete different conversation. I bet it was probably really enjoyable to like hear George early, and then I'm assuming he had ample amount of success, and you had a way more catalog to talk about, and you guys probably had a good kind of insider of like, dude, have you changed? Like, are you still the guy? Like, what has changed? Because he is a national. I mean, he is the face of tight ends right now, right? It's awesome. He's the guy.
You're right. We had a completely different episode, and because you've interacted with George plenty, way more than us probably. You could sit down with him for 10 hours and you'd have 10 different hours of conversation. So, so you know what? We were like, I've had you in mind. Don't worry. I've had you in mind. And I thought, you know what? 500, we might not make it to 1,000. This show is slowly falling apart. So let's get Dallas on while this thing is still rolling. But let's talk about it.
Maybe I bring you guys back.
You might.
Maybe we just. I mean, we might just blink and we'll get to 1,000. I mean, this might be just the catalyst that just kind of just brings it all together. Let's go.
I'm hoping so. The
croutons of the salad.
Oh, there we go. The first thing I notice about you, Dallas, and we've interacted just a couple times over the course of my time being a part of Iowa, and then last year at Tight End U, your energy is off of the walls. And I'm sure people have told you that before. Do you have any answer for where that comes from?
I do. Well, I don't. I mean, but here's the thing. I am easily motivated. I'm a passionate fella, and I get and I think it came to like just like a full just like a train running down the track at a crazy rate of speed. I think when my mom passed away, I think 4 days before I graduated high school, died of a heart attack, and
Wow.
and I think it was like that moment. Well, not that moment, but like just the following days. I felt like God kind of was like, because obviously that just did not seem fair at all, and I just still like a lot of questions about that, and like, are you kidding me, and all that stuff. But there's a point where I remember opening up the drawer in the house and seeing mom's the graduation card that mom was going to give me, and I remember in it she hadn't written in it, and I remember seeing that and reading it, and obviously bawling, and I remember that moment of like, okay, this is either going to be like the biggest, like, I'm going to enjoy every little thing about this life, because I just learned way early that nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is, we're not promised anything. And, and so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to make every day a great day, and I'm going to enjoy every little thing. And I really, and then obviously just kind of really like, it was perfect timing walking on at Iowa, because that was that was May 14 of 98, and so I 4 short months I was going to be on the campus of Iowa City, bigger than my I had my rhetoric class that was bigger than my graduating, or not my rhetoric class, but stats for business was had a bigger class than my hometown.
Twin River
like,
Valley.
holy, Twin River Valley, like graduated 32 kids, and
Wow.
so it was just like it was just this whole culmination of like me versus the world. I gotta enjoy. I gotta do this kind of by myself here. No excuses. Just kind of, it just kind of catapulted this whole like, I have no air. I can't make a mistake. I have to bring my A game, which to all those walk-ons out there, and I tell to all the walk-ons, you know, every day that I go to the complex and get to meet all these guys and become friends with them, it's just like, hey, we don't have the luxury. We're not those cool 3-class, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, or any star. We don't have a star by our name as a recruit coming in. Like, we don't have a day off. Like, we have to bring our A game every freaking day. And oh, by the way, if you get to the NFL, that's like, that could be more truer. So like this whole like walk-on mantra like has followed me my whole life. Like, it has just been like, I'm going to bring my best, and whether it's like mowing the freaking yard, or whether like I want to do my best, and I'm gonna try to do better than the last time, and annoyingly for my kids, like it's always like this speech. It's like really like I'm like in Gettysburg and remember the Titans, like Coach Coach Kuhn, like I can't, like Boone, like he was just like I'm gonna like everything's got to be like this like perfect Hollywood speech, and I'm just like, well, that's what I kind of feel like a lot of times. And so that, so it kind of comes off as excitement, so it's and then you sprinkle in some competitiveness, and then it's not good. It's
whatever.
just not good.
Yeah.
The
Whatever
scary
it is, I
combination.
like it. I like it. And noted, I'm never going to move next to Dallas Clark because his yard will look better than mine. I'll mark that down.
Well, here's the thing. If yours looks good, the next day,
Yours is going to look better.
It's going to look better. Whether I have to spray paint that crap, I don't. We're going to have some green grass. All right, we're going to make it happen.
I love it. It's funny. It's funny the way, and it just sort of rolls with how you are as a person. The way you worded that, you described it as obviously a tragedy. I didn't know that your mom passed when you were coming out of high school, but you said perfect timing. For a lot of people, that wouldn't be perfect timing, Dallas. Going into college, that would be a situation where maybe they fall back into a shell. They end up going down a different route. They decide not to take a chance on themselves as a walk-on, paying their way to college to go try and play football. But there's two options in life, right? You either
let's talk to me. Yes,
there's only two options.
There's two options.
You either back down and you play the victim, or you stand up and you're a gladiator, right? And
amen, brother.
And
amen.
you chose gladiator.
And here's the thing, like, Tyler Dunn did this book on, and George is in it. It's about how it's called Blood and Guts: How Tight Ends Changed Football. And freaking, talk about, it's up there with being number 500 on your guys' show. This dude thought I deserved a chapter in his book. And so I we did a deep dive. It was 4 hours on a Zoom call. And he wrote this beautiful chapter, and I went deep. I went Dr. Phil on him. And we talked about, there's 2 times I wanted to quit at Iowa. First 2 years I didn't play a single game. Because lo and behold, a month after mom passed, I'm playing baseball, one of my favorite sports. Just even equally as loved as football. Soft grounder up the middle, I'm playing short, and I run into our 150-pound second baseman, and I break my collarbone. Day before my birthday. And so, like, I go in to Iowa with a broken wing, and I call Coach Brett Bielema. We all know him, and love Coach Bielema. He, like, that guy made me who I was, along with Coach Doyle and Coach Ferentz and Coach Morgan. And we, I was like, I called him. I'm like, I thought they're gonna like not accept me as a walk-on.
They were
right?
gonna close the door.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, I'm wounded. Like, I'm broken. I'm damaged goods. Like, they're like, oh, no. Hey, why don't you take 9 hours? Like, then your eligibility won't start. I'm like, what? So they call it Greyshirting.
Yep.
So I took 9 hours, and also one of those classes I took extra at night was Taekwondo. I couldn't touch my toes coming out of high school. Now I can, like, basically do the splits. Like, I just, Taekwondo changed my life. And a shout out to Sensei Barnes. And so we I didn't play any football that year because we're getting ready to play Nebraska, and my collarbone never healed right. And guys, like, it's crazy. Like, I don't want to bore you with all that, but like God, like, things happen for a reason. I am a firm believer. And like 2 weeks before playing Nebraska, I'm on all the depth. I'm like on all the special teams, like, which was walk on goal #1, right? Like, that's the only way I'm getting on the field is special teams.
Yes, sir.
And so we're doing freaking onside kick practice. And I go up because you catch the ball at the high point, and I jump up for the ball, and I come down. We don't have pads on. Coach is yelling, "Don't jump for the ball." Well, I'm a walk-on. I got to do everything perfect and right and above and beyond those stupid scholarship kids. And I said that, stupid scholarship kids, because I still,
I agree.
Right? Yeah, it's like shame on you guys to get all the, why was my high school film not good? Huh?
Forgot to mention, by the way, in the intro that you're the all-time walk-on. I forgot that in the intro. You are literally king walk. We've said it a couple times tongue in cheek on the show, but you are.
Well, I think we should just shut this show down. Let's restart it from the top. We need a better intro. No,
we might have to shut the whole thing down after this episode, because we can't go anywhere.
Let's mic drop. So I re-injured my collarbone. Well, comes find out, my collarbone never healed right. Like it healed like a joint, like the bone, whatever. For whatever reason, the scar tissue it did not become a solid bone. It became more of like a joint. And so I come down and I freaking, I'm so much pain. I'm like, oh, right, here we go again. I'm thinking like, just 2 months ago I broke my collarbone. A month before that, mom passed. So I'm feeling a little like, okay, is this how this story's gonna go? And so I miss about 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm working my way back. And I kid you not, like I'm getting healthy, and I come to practice, and I feel like a freaking 18-wheeler just roll over me. And LeVar Woods, who's my idol, I was still outside Sam linebacker, and LeVar Woods was the linebacker, and I just still want to be like him. And he's coming. He comes over to me like before practice, like, dude, what is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm gonna die. He's like, you look like hell. I'm like, he's like, get Russ over here. I'm like, no, don't tell the trainers. No, I'm good. Well, that dumbass told Russ. He comes over. He looks at me. No, go. You're done. And I'm like, no, I'm good. No. So I went into the locker room, just laid in the locker. They didn't know what, think it was the flu or something. They sent me home to the dorm, and about 11 o'clock, like I feel like I'm gonna die. So I call up Ed, our head trainer. I'm like, Ed, I'm not good. And he goes, just walk across the street. Thank God, University of Ohio, the hospital's right across the street. So I go over there. Doc didn't even put 2 fingers on my stomach. You want to call someone? You're gonna go in for surgery. Your appendix is about to blow. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. And so I have an appendicitis surgery, get my appendix taken out. And so they're like, well, this season's pretty much wrapped. Why don't we fix that collarbone? So a month later, I get my collarbone fixed. So in 2 months, I get two surgeries, and all on the university tab. Thank you, University of Iowa. Yep. And walk-ons, we don't have to pay for that. We don't have to pay for that, so that's good. I pay for my food. I have to make my own food, but surgeries they'll cover that. So it's probably a student doing it. Let's not talk. I don't even know who they actually had doing it.
You had the second years trying to work on your collarbone.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God.
Some
other kid from Reno was inside of your chest cavity.
No doubt. They probably had a whole class over me. Like I was probably out for like 8 hours. Like, oh no. Just 2 hours, quick, easy surgery. So yeah, it was. So that year, that was '99, and then that was, that was no. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was '99. That was Coach Ferentz's first year. Because '98, obviously, that I was not on the team. That was Hayden Frye's last year.
Yeah,
because Hayden Frye's staff brought me in, and so. So that was '99. So that was my second year with no football. And it's like, talk about like, if you find out if you really love something like that right there, so like anytime these kids that like don't love the game and you see a lot of kids that get burnt out, it's just like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't empathize with you on that. I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. It's not for everyone. I don't know why, because it's freaking amazing. And I would give everything for it. And it's for the friendship, it's in the experience and pushing your body to things that you never thought you could do with your body. And there's nothing better. And so then that next year I freaking kick ass on special teams, and it just kind of get on kind of a roll after that.
Well,
so
I would say so.
It all kind of worked out.
Yeah, because you're a linebacker. Dallas Clark's a linebacker, right? Linebacker at heart.
I still am.
Absolutely. We saw you running around at tight end in the cleats, and I was scared.
Oh God, dude, is that not the best freaking environment? Like I try not to like tell people about how awesome, and you guys have inside information. You guys could see like, I am a kid in a candy store. Like that is like, that is what it's about.
Yeah.
And that is why I love George and Greg Olson. For those people, it's Greg Olson and George Kittle, and then Travis Kelce. Those three are kind of the masterminds behind Tight End U. And they asked me to come in 2 years ago, and I'm like, ooh, guys, it's kind of intimidating, because I'm like, what do I have? What do I have to bring to these guys? Like, these guys are the best of the best. Like these guys are the dudes at this position. Like, what am I gonna bring? And you know what I realized? I realized that I have a lot to bring to them, because what I think is kind of, piggyback on your kind of like the excitement. Like, I forget, because it's just that's who I am. But I forget, like, there is something to learn to really love this position, really love this game of football, really love your brother next to you, and like to know how special it is to like challenge each other and to go against the best and try to beat the best. And you might get your ass kicked, you might get embarrassed, you might, but to come back the next play and freaking kick their ass, and that's just like that, and to compete and to be in that environment, like that's like, there's some of these guys that still don't get that. They're in this league, and obviously a lot of young kids there, and so like to be able to teach them that this is our craft, this is our job. We get a small window to do this, and we can do it great if we want to, if we put the work in, if we're committed to it. And so like that's the message to those guys that I sent. Hell, they can run a 10-yard out route. They're great at that. Good job, awesome. But it's what are you doing in the off season? What are you doing to get better? What little things, right? Are you watching film? Watch film on George Kittle and watch how to freaking block. You want to know how to block and drive your legs? Watch George freaking Kittle finish a block. That's how you block it. You find the soft zone in a defense. Watch Kelce. That guy he's it's Kaiser Soze in the zones. Like, he just finds it and just uses his body and just lulls the defender sleep, like it was slow, boom, and then boom, hits it third gear, out. It's awesome.
You got to teach him to. You got to teach him to catch without gloves, though.
Dude, he can't handle that. He can't handle that. Come on now,
they're all soft nowadays.
He's scared. Dude, you're baiting me, Tyler. You're baiting me. I'm a seasoned vet. I ain't gonna fall for that shit. I know what you're doing. But you're right.
Dallas, we've seen. Yeah, I know. We've seen the clips. We've seen the clips of you running under Peyton's passes without, the fingers taped, nothing else. Real athlete.
And that's why my knuckles look like freaking
man.
Why they look like they do, man. So we had a trainer, our equipment guy, with the Colts, and Seabrooks is his name, and Brian, and this guy. He's about 5, sawed-off shotgun, like 5'8", just round dude, great smile. But that guy can catch, like, and he's the guy that, he's the one that's, shotgun tossing to Peyton, the ball. And so, like, we run 7-on-7, and, like, he catch the ball. And I swear I could throw, like, a no-look David Wright to first base to him, and he would have, like, 3 balls in his left hand, and boom, and he would catch the other ball in his right. I mean, the bet, and I'm like, Seabrook, I mean, dude, like, God gave you, and so we'd call it, he's like, you got mitts and I got paws. And so he had paws and I had mitts, and because we talked about how awesome our hands were, and we'd always try to outdo each other. And but it's just, I have mitts, and he had paws. So but that is like, that's the one thing coming in the, well, and here's the story behind that. I wore gloves as a linebacker. And so when I made that switch over, so I come out with my gloves on, and Kyle McCann is my man, my best friend, my quarterback, my true quarterback. No offense, Peyton. He was first, asked me to dance. And so we danced, and we fell in love with this the choice route. And so I was, first time out behind the bubble is, that summer.
The bubble.
The bubble, right? Come on now. And it's a parking lot now, but sure but I was wearing gloves, and I just felt like a freaking sluggish, like I don't know. It just like I'm like supposed to tackle with these things. Like what? So I took them off that summer, and then it's like, oh, and then I mean, obviously college football, like you can catch that ball like with your eyes closed. Like it's just a perfect like fatness to it. It's just perfect size, and so I get to the NFL, and obviously I can't remember whenever I dropped my first ball. I mean, it was like, chatter on the defense guy. Like, why don't you wear, just put gloves on, just put gloves on. I'm like, guys, I'm fine. I don't need gloves, and so, and, then it just like kept catching balls. And they'd just be like, damn, why don't, and so it's just that kind of like, why don't you wear gloves? So I had it from my own teammates. So like why don't you wear gloves? I'm like, I like the peer pressure, like, have a beer, like, come on, everyone's doing it, like everyone's wearing gloves. And so I'm just like, yeah, I don't, I get sweaty. I don't like it. I like to feel the leather, and I don't know, so it's, but how about that kid from Tampa, Otten is his name, I think, no gloves.
Really?
And yeah, he's like a third year. And what's crazy, I looked him up, and it's kind of, I hope he's at tight end U this year. But he lost, I think he lost maybe his mom too, like maybe during college or like recently. I think she died of cancer or something. Where I'm just like, holy crap, this dude.
Full
like
circle.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like he doesn't wear gloves, and I tell you what, he's a better looking dude than me. Like he's running, but like there are flashes where I'm like, watching him play this year, I'm like, dang, that kind of looks like me a little bit, because it's just funny. Like when you see a dude with no gloves, I can see why, like, kind of stand out. Like you just like I just never really realized it.
Hard to imagine that he looks better than you, Dallas, because you laced him up at tight end U, and your kids were there running around with you.
Oh,
and you were rocking the shorts and the and you're 44, 43 at the time, maybe, I guess. And
43.
And you look like you still, like, hey, if the Colts needed you, you might be able to run out there and give them a quarter or two right now. Like, I swear, like you are a stud. Still.
Thank you. And make sure you send me your address so I can send you, $20 for all these awesome compliments. But you know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. And here's the thing.
Chiseled calves running all over that field.
Having those dudes, having the best of the best, having my kids' idols and guys that I respect now, like, and love and just cheer, their biggest cheerleader, every single one of them. Everyone's like, oh, who's your favorite team? The Colts? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I love the Colts. I want Ursay. I want everyone to do with the Colts. I want them to do great. But after that, it's Hawkeyes and it's tight ends. Like that's who I'm watching. And I don't care if they play for the freaking Packers. Like I'm gonna watch them, and I'm gonna cheer for them, and I'm gonna, and it's fun to like shoot Kelsey a text and like, or Laporta, and just like, hey, hell of a block on that 3rd and 1, the third quarter. Like way to bring your second foot, way to bring your knee. Like, hey, way to freaking, that's the toughest catch. Like, great job. Way to, just give them little, like, I don't know, just like little text, attaboy, pat on the back. Like, hey, because freaking week 11, week 12, football, it's hard. It's long. It's lonely. It is tough. It's just constant, do better. You suck. You do better. You're awesome. You're amazing.
It's a high performance environment.
It is just, what have you done for me lately? And so to be in that environment, like, it just brings out the best in you. So I mean, I roll up and hearing those young guys like, damn, how old are you? I'm like, don't ask that question to elders, but I'm way older than you, and I think I can still get open. I still want to take your job. Like, that's kind of,
yeah. Well, what is your exercise? I mean, because a lot of you're a professional athlete, obviously. You may be genetically, plus just years and years of training, and the mindset that you've had has you don't have to get ready if you stay ready, is the quote. But what do you do nowadays in your mid 40s to stay fit, healthy?
Well, Tyler, full disclosure, like when you saw me, I was training for an Ironman.
Well, I wanted to ask about that as well.
Yeah. So you saw me in the peak. That was June. In 5 quick months, I'm going to do an Ironman in Kona, Hawaii. And, I have never done a marathon. I've never done, I did a half Ironman. So the whole thing, like you get these midlife crises, like, you get old and you get lost of, just cause, there's, you can't buy what's in the locker room. You can't buy it on Amazon. You can't buy it at Target. Like it doesn't exist on the sale rack at Walmart. Like and so like I needed a challenge, and I was like, I'll do a marathon. And I started like looking into it and kind of getting my mind. I'm like, well, shit, anyone can do a marathon. That's no. And I was talking to a buddy here in town, and he goes, yeah, I did. And we got started talking about it. He's like, well, I did an Ironman. And no offense, but I was like a full Ironman? You did? And he is not a guy that you'd look at and go, you did, like, oh yeah, you did an Ironman. And so we talked more until I'm like, okay. And then that kind of like, all right, I'm doing Ironman. And I thought about it. Well, Tony Kanaan, IRL race car driver, he just retired here this last year. Good friend of mine who we would train in the off season at St. Vincent's Sports Performance in Indianapolis. That's kind of our off season training, and it's where all the IndyCar drivers draw. All these Olympic athletes, all these race car drivers, just who's who in this building, and it was an awesome environment to work out in. And I got to know Tony, and he did an Ironman. So I reached out to him, and he's like, "You ready to die?" I'm like, "Hell yes, let's do this." And so he got me in touch with the Ironman people, the Ironman Foundation, because you can't just show up to Kona. That's like showing up to Las Vegas this year and playing in the Super Bowl. It's a World Championship. So I got a little exempt because it was a fundraiser. Yep. I raised over $100,000 for the University of Iowa Children's Hospital, and over $100,000 for Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital in Indianapolis, which, by the way, March 7th, he's having an event there, and we're going to give him the check. And I know it's long overdue, but we're going to do finally a proper ceremony of presenting this check. Awesome. And I'm so excited. So the Ironman people go, well, have you done a marathon? Nope. Well, have you done a sprint try? Have you done any tries? No. Okay. Well, here's the thing, Dallas. You can't just show up to Kona and that be your first. Like, you got to at least do a half. I'm like, all right, what do I do? And they're like, well, there's a schedule. Like, you just look at one and pick it. So I did the one in San Diego, and I'm trying to think. I can't think of the name of it right now.
You ran one in Indy too, right?
Well, I did the half marathon in Indy. Yeah, and that was a perfect timing for that. That was it fit with my schedule, and then obviously it was great to run that because I've always, we'd go down and support that when we're in town.
You did a half.
So I did.
Ironman in San Diego.
Yep. And so that was 1 point, so Ironman is 2.4 mile swim.
Yep.
112 mile bike ride, and then a full marathon. And so obviously cut all that in half. And I did that in April 2nd. And it ran in 5 hours and 40 minutes. And, it was very happy with it. And, I was just like, okay. And it was just a very good motive, just kind of a good mind confidence builder of like, okay, I double all that and just kind of, work all that. And so went to Kona, and it was just me and this other dude. He comes up to me. He's like, are you Dallas Clark? I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, you and me are the only ones out of 4,000 people, because it was COVID. It was coming off the COVID year. So they had 2 days. So they had to make up a whole nother year. So there's like over 4,000 racers. Mm-hmm. Out of the whole field of 4,000, there's only 2 people that have never done an Ironman, and it was him and me. I'm like, all right, buddy, are you fish bait or am I? Who's not finishing this? And here's the deal.
Hey, but that fired you up, huh? Knowing you.
Oh, hell yeah! It's like. I mean, there was not. I mean, and by the way, I kind of I've seen the movie Elf, where Will Ferrell they're sitting in the classroom and he just he's like an adult in Elfland.
Yeah.
That's how I felt like when we were getting like in our little holding state.
Because all those guys are, yeah.
Oh, shredded, 180, 90 pounds, and just like freaking a one muscle gland, and they're just like, little, just, bouncing Betties, just like just little Energizer bunnies. And I'm just like this, pulling guard. And it was awesome. It was freaking awesome. And to go toe to toe, and I beat, and I've slowly come to enjoy this, but like, a full disclosure, like when I got done, there's a website where it shows you how, your times, your splits, all that. And out of my age bracket of 40 to 44-year-olds, there was 380 participants in that age bracket.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, I did pretty good. I felt pretty good. I finished in 11 hours and 20 minutes. I can't remember my exact time. I survived, and it was better than 12 hours. So I was very happy with that. And so I get done, and I'm looking at my stats. I'm sorry, it was 12 hours and 40 minutes. I wanted to beat 13. And so I'm looking at my time, and I beat 15 dudes. Like I was like, and that was demoralizing. I'm like, holy shit, I got 365th place. And I'm like, that hurt. And then I had to remind myself, like, wait. These guys won an Ironman, or they got top 5 in their 8. They're real athletes. Like, they do this for I had to like swallow my pride a little bit. And then then I'm like, wait, I beat 15 dudes. Like, okay. So then I was like, okay.
Well, the real question, Dallas, is who's lining up against a D end and going to the corner of the end zone and catching a touchdown out of those 380 guys? And there's not a single one of them, right?
No, there's not. There's not.
So you got to put it in perspective. Those are, Kevin and I have actually talked about doing an Ironman recently.
You guys want to?
Yeah, we would love to.
I'm doing a half. I'm doing a half later this year.
Are you doing Des Moines this year? What are you doing?
Is Des Moines full or half? Because they're rotating. It goes half full, half full. Is it a half this year?
Des Moines a half this year. It's in June.
That might actually work out perfect. I might maybe I'll do June, and then one. I want to go to like now my whole thing is like seeing different parts of the world, and like go, and I don't want, like, no offense to Des Moines, love Des Moines, Shields, let's go. But like, but like, do I want to swim in White River or whatever, White Lake, whatever
Gray's
they
Lake.
swim in?
Gray's
Lake. I knew it was a color. It's just kind of like, I just swam in the freaking Pacific Ocean, and I was swimming in an aquarium. Like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, it was like, it was awesome. And so,
Kevin and I are kind of on that extreme side of things. Like, I basically train like 2 to 3 hours of CrossFit a day. That's what I do. So
let me guess, you're scared about swimming.
I don't have a lot of swimming experience. Kevin has been swimming for like a year, but I could learn.
Dude, I honestly, a year out, I swam 75 yards and I about died. And I got scared. I was like, oh, we got a problem.
Yeah.
And then I watched some YouTube videos, and then you learn how to breathe underwater. And it's like, it's your heart rate. Like, once you don't freak out and you just are comfortable breathing, you got it. Then you can do it for days. It's like, it just goes. So let's do it. Let's do it. Kev, let's get him. Let's find, like, I heard, like,
well, Des Moines not diverse enough for you, man. Tell me when and where.
Okay, so I'm looking at St. George. I heard St. George is like stupid climb, absolutely gorgeous. You're in the Red Rocks. I heard it's just unbelievable. So, but I think that's a full this year. So I don't know if we want to. Sign up for that.
We're gonna get roped in with Dallas here.
But we do a half this year, and then next year we just parlay it. Training.
I'm so in.
Into a full. All right. Everyone out there, it's happening.
Yeah, we put it out to the world now, so we gotta.
Unless you edit this out, unless you cut this out.
We don't edit shit. We don't edit shit.
Oh, you don't? All right. Well, then you're screwed. You're in.
I am. Dallas. Right. I'm currently sweating, so that's. Because now because if Dallas Clark beats me in an Ironman, I'm gonna be pissed. Because
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, I know you probably are.
I am. Okay, so here's the thing. Look under Ironman.com. Go to the schedule.
Yep.
And let's see what
we'll be,
because it's got it.
We'll figure this out.
Okay. It's happening.
We'll be in touch. We'll
Because here's the thing. Here's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's telling, granted, I don't sit at the coffee shop and be like, yeah, I'm an Iron Man. I did it. It's kind of cool to see the people that kind of like nervously come up like, hey man, how was that? Like, and you can see them I'm quick to like, hey, let's go do a half. And I got a buddy, he's a kid. I mean, he's like, he just graduated high school about 3 years ago. He's doing a marathon. I think he's doing the Des Moines Marathon here in April. I think it's just this. Yeah, it's in April. And so I'm like, dude, let's like you have the bill. Like, and he's an athlete. He's a great guy. Will Arness, shout out to Will. I'm like, dude, let's do it. I'm doing a half Ironman. He's like, all right, I'm in. So it's kind of cool to see these, just to kind of like, kind of be an ambassador. Because here's the thing in life, like, yes, got to do football and talk about like everyday challenge. Every day was like competitive. You had to freaking bring it. You had to like strap it on. There's no negotiating. It was just be great or get fired. It's just pretty much what it comes down to. And so it's like, but ultimately like we can all create that environment for ourselves and like just challenge ourselves. Cause at the end of the day, like, again, like, did I lose to 534, 50, 60, whatever people? Yes, I did. But did I overcome did I achieve? Yes, absolutely. So it's so cliche and stupid, but it's like we're all winners, but there is like that self, like holy crap, I just did that.
It's a serious accomplishment.
And Tyler, you're gonna feel it. And oh, by the way, I did that half.
Yeah.
And I'm running the half, like on mile 7, and I freaking start crying. And I don't know why I'm crying. I'm a crier, but so it's not a complete surprise. But I pull my hat down because I'm like crying. I'm like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? Why, but here I am thinking about my daughter and it's just like, and I feel like that was like a big reason why I was doing what I was doing is because I wanted to show my kids like commitment. What does it look to train?
Yep.
What is it to overcome and to like set out a goal and to see it through? And obviously they got a sweet trip to Hawaii, but like ultimately, like I want them to see like, wow, dad took a year, like he would just go run and then he would go, whatever. And hopefully at some point in their life, they see and learn. I don't know. It's just this,
no, like, man, I get it. I have a 14-month-old. Yeah.
Dude, it's okay. So it's that idea of you can talk about all you want, but it's just like, if the kids can see it,
yep.
Like that's powerful stuff. And so like that's
funny. We got into this conversation. Tomorrow I start Dam to DSM training. It's just a half marathon.
Yeah.
It's the half.
Dam to Dam, right? Or is it
used to be Dam to Dam. They've changed it to Dam to DSM.
Okay.
And
too many dams? Were kids like too many swears in a
no,
sentence?
no, I don't. No, it was, but
it was a joke. Come on, Tom. It was DSM.
Yeah. So I start day 1 of training for that tomorrow, and I've ran it a couple times before, and I finished it. And that's not, again, like if we're in the Ironman conversation, a half marathon, 13 miles isn't much, but this time my brother and I are going for like an aggressive actual like race pace. We're gonna try and finish it in sub 140, and I'm built like that guy who had hands in Indianapolis. I'm like 5'10", both ways. So. So like, I was not built to run. Let's just say that. And so sub 140.
Do you have a no bull shirt on?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. You're bad. Okay. Dude, I mean, like there is, like, I know people are out there like, oh gosh, CrossFit's so stupid, this and that. And I'm like, like, yeah, hate it all you want, but there is like, it's great. It's great for the mind. It's great for the body. It's.
I'm just like you.
you know,
I'm competitive and I challenge myself and I like that stuff. And people are gonna really hate that you called me a badass. Coming back to the Dam to Dam, though, I actually am in partnership with them. I know the people who run the race. And if you want a Hawks by a million bib, this isn't just for you, Dallas, or anybody else who wants to run the Dam to DSM here in 14 weeks. If you want a custom race bib for race day, sign up with the code WASHED, washed. And you're going to get 10% off your race. And you're going to get a custom Hawks by a million bib for race day. Just saying.
What's the date on this bad boy?
It's June 1st. Just a quick 13 miles, June 1st. So sign up. It's a really great race. You start on the Saylorville Dam. You can see downtown Des Moines. Literally, you can see off in the distance where you finish. It's fun. It's just
look over your shoulder. You might see me. I might be
okay.
I might be taking.
It's a good thing you and I aren't like real friends, at least yet, Dallas, because we would be like we would run each other into the ground.
I love it. Well, and here's the thing, like running, I've learned like this body, these boots ain't made for what they're made for running. They're made for running 10-yard like out routes and seam routes. And and block a 9 technique.
Yep.
But running, oh good Lord. It is, but it's fun. It's a great and like knock on wood, like I am like so blessed to be able to do this because I have friends that we're talking knee replacement surgery, hip replace, so it's just like God,
Drake, our other co-host Drake, who you know and saw at Tight End U, he's staving off a complete ankle replacement right now from his injuries in football. So
is he really?
Yeah, legitimately. Like he just had he had rods put in when he broke it during our college career. And he just had that rod taken out. And like, there's a good chance, almost 100% chance that in about 20 years, when we're 50, he will absolutely have a fully replaced ankle, like a fully bionic ankle.
You don't hear that very often. I mean,
no, that's bad.
Knee and hips. I mean, that's bad. Like
And Kevin is a trauma sales rep, and he knows all about that. He's in those surgeries, so it's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah,
Kevin, I don't like you. I don't like you, Kevin, because you're on the other side, dude. Like you're the challenge. Like I don't want to see you. I don't want to know you. You don't exist. Like we're gonna do everything we can. But thank God
you don't. But when you need me, you want me.
I know, right? I know.
When we train Dallas, we can put Kevin's face in front of us, and that could be or behind us. We could just run away from him.
Believe me, I got way other faces. Kevin, you're fine. You are absolutely fine. I got way more faces to put in front of you, big dog. You're safe.
I'm gonna move on from the self-centered topic from training, and but if you do want to run that race, Dam to DSM, use code WASHED. I want to ask you, Dallas, about a teammate of yours by the name of Bob Sanders.
Ooh, the enigma.
Coach Ferentz would describe him to us circa 2015, 16, 17 as a guy who is a program changer. How would you describe Bob Sanders, and what was special about him in your words?
Bob was, I mean, that's pretty, that's pretty powerful what Coach said, because that guy he's seen some football players now. So, I mean, like, to have him, right. So like to have him make that statement, but here's the thing, Coach is nice and he says a lot of nice things about a lot of players, but like, this is 100% true. Like Bob came in, obviously Bob's phenomenal story where, he was just kind of the scrap, right? They were going out to Erie, PA to look at this kid named Ed Hinkle. And this old little wide receiver, and then they're watching the game and they're like, "Good God, who's this?"
They found a stick of dynamite.
Yeah, but the only thing is, the stick of dynamite's like 5 foot, 8, 9, 10. I don't even know what but I mean,
I think 8.
I couldn't get past his traps. Like, it's like he has no neck. Could you imagine how tall you could be 6 foot if he had a neck? But his traps, his neck at birth, and so he doesn't have a neck. And so, like, he came on campus, and he goes, like, yeah, I mean, he's learned how to hang clean, kind of like me, like, learn how to hang clean, learn how to freaking like didn't lift in high school. And you look at me and like, yeah, I could tell you didn't lift in high school. You look at Bob Sanders, you're like, bullshit. You've lifted. No. And he just came out of the womb with an 8-pack and like muscles coming from your ear. Like, there's no way. And oh yeah, that's true. Like he just and I mean the explosiveness. Like, there's 2 dudes like and Kevin Casper.
Yep, we've had Casper on.
Right, Marvin Harrison, obviously, just like these, like, and then Bob Sanders, like these quick twitch. People don't realize, like, Kevin Casper had like he had the change of direction record at the combine for wide receiver.
Still does, by the way.
Does he still do? Okay,
yeah.
I just assumed it has to be broken by now. It doesn't. So I mean, just like we're talking, like it's awesome. It is just awesome. And then obviously, Casper, like he shaves. He's like a swimmer, so it's just like every like you can see.
Hey, that's another guy who might do the Ironman with us.
Actually, I think he has. Does he have a bad wheel? He has something that he can't. I think he has a bad ankle.
He called me about 2 months ago, and he's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I got a little back thing right now. He's like, you got to stop fucking doing CrossFit, man. He's into, because he's still shredded, has veins that have veins, but he stays.
His son was getting recruited, right? And so I saw him about every weekend, right? And it's just like, talk about another. It's like, good God, Casper, like, you look. I kind of have a crush on you right now.
God, with his long hair, he's out in Arizona with the tan. Yeah, he's a beautiful human. He does. So I think he stays off of anything that's real, like beats on his body, squats, running, and he does a lot of sleds, a lot of biking. On the Peloton, he will ride in Peloton rides, and he'll get like top 10 out of like 50 or 60,000 people.
Exactly. Like, he's sponsored in there. Like, he is like a freak in that. He's like, people know Kevin Casper from Peloton, not University of Iowa football or Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
Like, he is. And talk about a guy like, and here's the thing, like, you talk to him and he's
Same
got
thing.
that screw loose. Like, he's just like, oh, what do I got to beat? Done. Like, it's just like, and it's done. Like, he's going to get it. And it's just the same way with his running. Like, it was just like the 3-cone was like, we just watched Gran Turismo with the kids, and it was kind of, it's awesome where they take the car and they just like break it down into 10,000 little pieces. And that's like kind of how Casper like would look at his routes, like dissect it, and like to know his intricacies, like staying low and all. I mean, it's just a different gear. But back to Bob Sanders, like, that's exactly what he had, and that's exactly what he brought from day one. And then how lucky am I to have him as a teammate in college? And then the very next year, who do we freaking draft in the second round? Who stole in the second? Like, how he didn't go the first round? And Bob Sanders comes to the Indianapolis Colts and is like, holy freaking A, let's go. And to see him, like, I mean, the stats showed for himself. I mean, like, when he played, we won.
Yeah.
When he didn't play, we struggled, It was just like, he was a true, exactly what Coach Frank, I mean, he was a game changer. And
I think he's looked at now by many people as, like, if he would have stayed healthy, potentially the greatest safety of all time.
Dude, here we go. Like I will sign off, and I will stand on the tallest mountain as I can. And I will advocate for that dude, because, I mean, talk about a shortened career, which is so sad. But here's the thing, like, you tell Bob 100 times, like, Bob, you can just tackle a guy. You don't have to kill him, right? Like just like make a tackle. Like, don't make a highlight reel. Like,
no.
sacrifice, and he just, it's like telling a black lab, hey, don't go chasing that bird. Like you yeah, bird, die, kill. Oh! And he would just freaking bring it. And I mean, just freaking heat-seeking missile. Like,
dude,
it was, and you could feel it being locked in. It was like freaking, like that radar. Like you're running that corner around. You're like, oh shit, here he comes. And it would,
watching highlights of Bob like my body hurts watching him hit people. Oh my God.
Dude. And he would just like, he would get up and he's just like, he just like it wasn't the, like, look at me. Like it was just like he just like, that was his, that's what he got excited. Like, that's all he wanted to do. It wasn't for show. It was just like, he just wanted to deliver pain every freaking Sunday. And it's unfortunate because you're absolutely right, dude. That first ballot Hall of Fame, like, whatever you like, he was on that track. Yeah. To beat that guy, and it's just unfortunate. And I hope, here's and Bob stays off the grid. And
I know, because we've tried to contact him.
Right. And I'm like, and I'll like reach out to the Colts or and they'll be like, yeah, you're like 7 numbers late. Like you're like he changes his number. Like he just, and it's not like he's depressed or like hates people or anything like that. It's just, he's just a different cat. He lives in there. I know he lives in Arizona, and I think he has like 4 kids now, and his wife's from Arizona, so they moved there. He was out in Cali, and so I, I that's all I know, and that's sad, crazy. It's just like I could talk to Bob once a week, and I would love it, and and there was a time where like we were sending each other's texts, and then all of a sudden, like, I think he got a new, I sent a text and, no response. I'm like, okay, he got a new number, and like, I'm in, I'm in the dust. And so
what was he like as a teammate? Like in the build, like obviously he had one speed and it was jet fighter on the field, fighter jet, but what was he like around the building? Did he talk much? Did he ever motivate people like off of the field? Like, what was that like?
His motivation was like, he had this it was almost like, it was kind of like a fighter, like just kind of like,
like a vibe.
during introduction, like just kind of getting ready to, I could just see Bob, like just kind of, bobbing his head, and just like, he was very intrinsically motivated, and like, he just, like, it was all up here, and he just, but you'd watch him and you're feeling it. Like, he wasn't like, and he would get, you'd be kind of, come on, like he would be vocal every now and then, but that wasn't his. It was, hey boys, watch me play and try to keep up. And that, like, if you bring that energy, then like, that's how he led with his pads. Like he was not a big rah guy. Gary Brackett was more of the vocal leader for our defense. And so David Thornton, they were kind of the leaders of that, but that DB, like him, and oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on our corner. He was best friends with him, and they kind of held it down. I'm gonna remember the name once we get off. But
definition of talk with your pads, and just, dude,
it was awesome, and that's just like you respect a guy so much more, like that, and in the locker room, he was just very mild mannered, and just sweet. He was always sweet with my kids, and get to meet his kid. Just a very like gentle dude, but if you got him kind of like stirred up on something, he's like, he could, I mean, the trigger wasn't too far away. Like, it was,
that's amazing.
But yeah, just a beautiful dude. And what a hell of a teammate. And it's just, there's guys that, obviously have their careers cut short, and it's always, it's never good. It's never easy,
Right.
but he's just one of those guys that, man, we were all cheated out of that. Like that was just a fire that was just getting ready to take off.
For sure. Well, I think we could probably talk for 3 hours. I have a couple more questions, and I'll let these guys ask a couple questions so we can not keep you till 3 a.m. You're already on your second bottle of water. So, I mean, geez.
Dude, I just got done with coffee. I got water.
You just drank coffee?
Oh yeah, dude, I can drink coffee and pass out. Yeah, caffeine is. And actually, I used to have this joke, like, and it's sad because it was a phenomenal joke. Like, people were like, "Hey, you want some coffee?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not old enough." And it was a good thing, because I wasn't old enough. It's like, yeah, old people drink coffee, or I gave them the Kevin McAllister line, like, "No, I got to drive." But now, like, I started drinking coffee here about 7 years ago, and now it's like, oh crap,
it's just water.
It's just water. Like, it's just it's good. It's just good.
I love it.
So
cool. Well, then we're gonna go. I'm curious what it's like to be one and this goes all the way back to that first question, sort of, the guys we're trying to have on for the 100, 200, 300, 400 episodes. Back in Iowa City, you've been back obviously for games. You're back for a bunch of stuff. You're involved. Coach brings you back in, talk to the team, all this stuff. As a walk-on who just wanted to see the field at one point, what is it like to come back and be part of what I will call, for lack of a better term, like one of the Hawkeye elite as a part of the KF era? Bob Sanders, Robert Gallery, Dallas Clark, Drew Tate, these names that you hear and see in the record book. Like, what is it like to be a part of that?
It is so humbling, and it is, and again, it's that, like, it's that walk-on mentality. Like, it's the mantra that I still refuse to believe it. I still refuse to, like, accept it. I still refuse to, like, like Coach Morgan was my tight ends coach. One of the best coaches to ever, like, good God, what a man.
Every person we bring on this podcast has a recruiting story that involves Coach Morgan, by the way.
He's the best. And he is exactly, and talk about like I go through my little career, like the valleys, the dark, deep, rough valleys, and the highs, and everywhere in between. Like, God puts people in your life for a reason. And I swear it's, like, even more prevalent in my journey, because, like, when I make that transition to tight end and I have, like, instant success, and that guy, every week I'd have a good week or something good happen, and I can still hear it. He's like, "Dallas, don't get complacent. Don't get complacent. We got to get better. You can get better on that block. You can finish that." And I don't think I would, but I'm sure at some level I'd be like, "Coach, that was a great block. Like, could have been better, absolutely. But, like, I could have got that thing that happens, like, that complacency. Like, oh, I'm good. But, like, man, if I could get that freaking elbow and I could get, then it'd be great, And now I got that guy on the rails, and now I'm driving, and now I'm looking like George Kittle, on a freaking stretch play. So, like, that's what Coach Morgan brought, and it's that never get complacent. And so that's just, like, so back to your question, like, I still feel like I have something to prove. I still feel like I want to get better, even though I'm way my eligibility. I actually have 1 year of eligibility left. I did leave early, so I made that. Can I use it? And I got a COVID year, so now I got 2 years. So I and now I can get paid. I can get NIL money. So I mean,
let's get you back in Iowa City. In fact,
I might come back. So it's just like, so to come back to that environment. And here's the thing, like, how lucky are we Hawkeyes? And any of you freaking dumbasses that think that Coach Ferentz, like, oh, we need someone, like
we call them Cheeto fingers around here.
Is that what we call? I don't know.
They're on the couch eating Cheetos. Yeah.
Oh, dude, like, who else do you think, like, who? Anyway, that's another conversation.
Yep. Just leave it there. Leave it there.
Right. We're gonna just leave it there, and look at yourself in the mirror next time you say something stupid, please. Yep. And so, like, this guy, like, to have us like come back, and our program is still there, and it's different, but it's still there. And the coaches, freaking Abdul Hajj, my old teammate, Liddell Betts, my old teammate, LeVar Woods, my old teammate, like, they're on the freaking staff. Like,
they're running the place.
They're running the place. They're freaking kicking ass. They're unbelievable. Abdul Hajj, like sitting in the tight end room and having Abdul, like, watching him do his thing with the tight ends, and him being so, like, here's the thing, this business has ego. It's a lot of ego, and that man, he could easily like this is my room. Like, he is so like, hey Dallas, if you see anything. And so I'm sitting there watching film, and we're watching that morning workout or that morning practice, and I'm I'm like, hey guys, you guys need to, hey on your release, get more of a whatever, you got to gain ground, whatever the tip is. And Abdul is so sweet. He's like, oh, that's good. Yep. Hey, that's good. Hey, you guys see that? And it's just like, this is what it's about. Yeah. This is what it's about. It's about growing together, learning together, and putting it on film. And so it's so to be able to come back and to be, to have Coach give that invite and to come back and holy cow, like you cannot, like, because here's the deal, like I thought, like, this, like, once you're because everyone's like, oh, better enjoy it, doesn't last forever, like, oh yeah, it's just, and I try to be a regular person, and I am a regular person, but it's cool to have people like still think that, like, hey, can you come by and talk to the kids? That it's like, holy crap, you think I can still like make an impact, I can do something, like that's. Yeah. Like, that's powerful. Like, that's awesome. That Coach.
They're not asking everybody that, Dallas. I haven't got that text yet.
Well, and I don't take it for granted. And it's inspiring to stand in front of those guys, and because you've been in, we've been in their shoes, and it's like, like what's going through their mind, how freaking hard it is, and and unfortunately they have the blinders on because that's all they can see, because that's all they know, and so it's special to go back and try not to sound like that old guy and back in my day, try not to pull out too many of those stories, but to remind them that Iowa City, that University of Iowa, that Coach Ferentz, that whole staff, it's special. It's special. And for what, if you ever start questioning that, stop and go back 2 steps, because that's exactly where you remember it the best. And that's exactly what it is. It is the best place for you to grow as a man, as a football player, and as a teammate, and as a person, and just like it has everything there. Like oh God, like it's your fault if you don't get better. It's your fault. It's none of those guys, because every guy, every man, woman in that building want nothing to do but make sure that you reach your fullest potential. And it has nothing to do with wins. It has nothing to do with that bull crap. It's you being better than you were when you left or when you got on campus. And that's the ultimate goal. And if you don't, you cheat, like, that's on you. That's on you. And I don't care what injury, like, there's no excuses. Coach Ferentz or Coach Dungy, no excuses, no explanations. That was his tag. That was his line. And it is so true. And that's the same thing with being a football player at the University of Iowa. Like, no excuses for you to leave that place and not be a better man.
Yes, sir. Kev, you got any questions for the man?
Yeah, I got some questions for you.
What do you got, Kev?
The tight end position's come a long way, I feel like, in the last 15 years in particular. I feel like you were kind of at the transition point from what tight ends used to be back in the early 2000s to what it became with you kind of leading the way there at Indianapolis. In your mind, where has the tight end position come from where it was, and where is it going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Very, very great, awesome question, and couldn't be more true. Or the position has changed so much, and it's and it's awesome because I feel like I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't change it for a second. Like I love the era that I played in. Is it awesome to see the stats and just like, good God, like these dudes are just crushing it. And would it be fun to be in those offenses? Absolutely. And we were, and I was very blessed, very fortunate, but it was still that pull that that constantly was just, that was just kind of holding you back, because literally it was Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, obviously Rob Gronkowski later on, but it was really those dudes. And unfortunately for me, selfishly, like they were in the AFC, so like it was just it sucked being being in their shadow, and that's where I was. Like, I mean, those guys were just Hall of Fame players, and I'm not taking anything away from them. Like, they earned it. They worked. They kicked ass. They earned it. They deserve it. And so, but it was that that change of like the tight end was being utilized. Like, oh wait, this is kind of like, it's almost. I mean, it was at the footsteps of getting creative of like because back in the day, not too far from removed, from my era. I mean, we're talking like Algie Crumpler, Chimera or whatever, from like just a big Neanderthal, good looking, like skinnier tackles is what the tight end was. Like, can you run a 5-yard out route? Frank Wycheck, he was another, like he could extend the field a little bit, but he was neck roll, like just like meathead, like hit you in the mouth. But like just the idea of like running further than 10 yards with actually a purpose, instead of just running off the defense, and so an athletic receiver could run underneath you. Like, that was still kind of like a fairy tale, to be in that era where, and with Tom Moore and obviously freaking Peyton Manning, and then obviously my band of characters, Reg and Marv and Stokely and Edrin and all those guys, so it was just so much fun to be part of that to get creative of utilizing, running seam routes, reading, beating guys versus man, having defenses having to like, bring in a corner to try to cover you, kind of be part of that whole, like, that whole thing to, defenses had to like, like I remember I remember Peyton actually saying it in an article, like, having defenses, having them to waste time in the meeting during the week, like, okay, how are we going to stop, obviously Marv, how are we going to stop Reg, how are we going to stop Dallas, like, like to be in that conversation is like pretty cool, it's like, okay, like you're when you get talked about, that's a good thing, and so to kind of be in that early stage of the position, just kind of blossoming. I mean, it's the infant stage of obviously where it is now, is really damn cool, and I'm very proud of it. And it's just cool to see these kids. I mean, and oh, by the way, tight end, you see it. I mean, my kids and I, we sit in the front of the bus because, you know, we're the old guys and we sit in the front of the bus, cool kids sit in the back. And so we get off the bus and I'm like, hey, you know, so I'm like, hey guys, tell my boys like just stay back and then we'll just follow them in. And, you know, this is their show. Like, you know, they have cameras and all that stuff. And so we're sitting there, you know, watching them get off the bus. And it's like freaking, I don't know if you've seen like Santa Claus 2, I think it is, where he makes these toy soldiers out of the machine and they just replicate these toy soldiers, just keep coming out there. And that's kind of what the tight ends are now. They're all 6'5", 250, and they keep coming out of the bus. It's like they all look the same. And I'm like, okay, if you don't know football and you see all of us coming out, they're like, okay, there's the trainer pointing at me. And then yep, athlete, yep, oh yeah, baller.
They run 4.5s too.
Oh, freaks, right? You know, and it's just like, it's awesome. It is awesome to just see, like, you know, not many of these guys existed when I played, and now it's like, you know, but why is that? Well, it's trickled down to colleges and trickled down to high school, you know, so like these programs are seeing the potential, and these offenses are utilizing these athletes, and so there's more to pick from. And so it's awesome to see the evolution of the sport or the position. And, you know, and I had one of the best guy that never played college football, Marcus Pollard, played basketball at Bradley University, and coach Bill, Mr. Napoleon, found him, saw him, pulled him in. He had a 14-year career. He was my mentor. He was the guy I replaced, unfortunately, with the Colts. But he told me all his bags of tricks, told me about position, but that was kind of the you know, the loose hips, the hands, athletic, use the body, box out. You know, it's all the sports you played in high school, and utilize them. It's why it's the best position on the field.
You have any favorite guys you like to watch right now?
Well, obviously the Hawkeyes. You know, I am 100% a fan of all those guys, and I mean, you know, obviously Kittle gets so much attention, well deserved. Hawkinson, I love his game. But let's take a little extra time and talk about Sam Laporta, and how he freaking. And here's you can ask like the ladies at the coffee shop. Like I told them, like, hey, watch Laporta, you know, because they're like, oh, how's he going? I'm like, shut up. Like I didn't tell ladies shut up, but I'm like, hey, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. And granted, like I didn't see this happening, Pro Bowl, all that. I mean,
unreal.
But like unreal. But here's the thing: like he fell into, you know, just like Kittle, just like Hawkinson, like it. There's so many things that help you become a great player in this league, and it's, you know, it's obviously, you know, it's the offense, you know, and the fit, and obviously, and it's the relationship you have with your quarterback, and every great quarterback and tight end relationship you see, like they're usually really good friends, and they also have this like connection, like there's just I don't know, and it's just, you just know where you need to be, they know where you need to be, and every quarterback should fall in love with their tight end. That's the first person you should take out to eat, and because they're going to save your ass when the blitz comes, when, you know, you know, like they're always going to be open. They're your safety net and your security blanket, whatever analogy you want to put. But you know, it's just great to see those guys do so well. And then obviously Kelsey with the Chiefs. Like I enjoy. He's so like unorthodox. Like you wouldn't like. But again, he's in a system where they let him kind of be a bandit, you know, kind of be a nomad. Like
he dictates everything.
He does like things so unorthodox. Like you would not, like you'd probably use more of his film on not how to do things, because you probably can't do it, but like he can do it because he's just a weird, freakish athlete. And it's, you know, but he does more good with it. And if you tried to teach it or if you tried to mimic it, like you would get cut, you know, by the third day. And so like he is just he's just a true renegade of just kind of the position. It's a lot of fun to see him, and then obviously him and Mahomes have just that connection, and I mean that guy can throw his eyes closed and he knows where he's going to be, and they help each other out so well. They complement each other so well.
That's awesome, man. I got one more question, then I'll hand it over to G-Bone. You know, we're going on 7.5 years ago. Kinnick Stadium got to hear you sing a little Garth Brooks. Are we ever going to get to see that again?
Great question. Stay tuned. I mean, it's never say never. But certainly nothing is, but that is
you helped put that on, didn't you?
That was, I mean, I don't want, that was, I mean, yeah, that was not my show, obviously a lot. I mean, that was my idea. That was, something I love about as much as football is music. And, God gave me a great passion for it. But as many people have heard me sing, gave me zero talent to either play a good freaking. Can I just play a guitar? Come on, can't. Tried, suck. I wish I could sing. I can't. I suck. But man, do I. Man, but I love it, and I'll fake it as much as possible, and sing with Garth and his crew. They can they almost made me look good, but I couldn't fool no one. All I did was make Garth look really, really good. So
it was a great night, though.
It was fun. Yeah, but yeah, We're working on it, but here's the thing with that show at Kinnick with Blake and Thomas Rhett, and quite a few others. But I just kind of thought it was like, oh, we're just gonna run it back, and it's the music business is so, good God, that's a whole nother world, and so to get stars aligned with timing, tour dates, artists, because there's a very small handful of artists that can sell out a stadium, and so obviously it's a money game, and obviously you don't want to pay at the end of the day, and so and the way we do it, obviously it was a fundraiser, and that's the only way we'll do it, is if it's going to be another fundraiser, and unfortunately, when you go to Nashville and you say, I got this great idea for a fundraiser, doors close quicker than you would imagine, and
sure.
And so it's going to happen. But here's the thing. Things happen for a reason, and there's a reason why I can't explain all of them. I can explain a lot of them, but when it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And when it does, it's, and whether it's 2 years from now or 5 years, 7 years, I don't know, but it's going to happen, and it's going to make an impact, and we're going to change lives, and it's going to be we're going to help kids and make a difference, and that's the only way it's going to get done, and that's the only reason why it should get done. So stay tuned, but I appreciate you guys. I mean, that was a special night, and then that was before they served alcohol in Kinnick, so that was the first time people were like I'm having a beer on Kinnick's, on Kinnick, on the field, and let alone in the stadium, and so that was the biggest, I think that's what people were came out to see Blake Shelton for, I just want to have a beer in Kinnick, and so
when you guys do it again, we'll have to have you guys sell our beer. We have a beer.
Done.
It's called Hops by a Million.
Dude, that we can have your people call my people. We'll discuss it while
you're looking at my people, but yeah, okay.
I got one quick follow up, man. Your Dallas Clark's all-time concert. You name 3 artists, past, present, dead, alive. Who's playing in your all-time concert?
Oh, you need to give me like a 6 month. That's like who's your favorite kid?
You can answer that too.
Yeah, you can answer that as well.
Here. Okay, so like I think just so I don't offend all the living, like I think I'll just go with the people that have gone on. But like I think I like crazy to believe, but like Michael Jackson would have loved to seen like because talk about like I love the people that have like I just saw like my son showed me a picture or showed me a clip of Michael Jordan is during a free throw, one of his I forget who was shooting a free throw, and and he comes flying in, and when you see, you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot, like 8,000 of the highlights that you forget, but like he comes flying in like a kamikaze, and it's a perfect miss, and he just one hand like just grabs in midair and just dunks it, and you have 8 fools looking up like, holy shit, I would never even think about doing that, let alone I don't even think I could do that. So you have like this guy that just transcends like the game of like just like makes people see it from a whole different perspective. So like obviously Michael Jackson impact, like when I was a kid, of like watching him do his thing with the Bad album and all that, and just like the video, making videos, like that was kind of like when videos were getting into the new thing, and that era. So just like seeing him perform and would have been ridiculous. Tom Petty, who like is kind of one of those guys where you're like, damn, like that didn't see that one coming. And I'm just kind of I mean, I know there's so many. I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, you're an idiot. Why didn't you
I can
think
see on your face there's a list of 30 people that you're trying to name.
Yeah, Prince would like his Diamonds and Pearls album. Like I listened to that like on the regular. I had that hologram picture on the
it's amazing
on the cover, and that was like. And here's the thing, like I like music puts me like our last year with the Hawkeyes, Gray Street, Dave Matthews, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. By the way, like I can listen to that album. I can listen to those any song on that album, because that was back when you had a CD and you put the CD in your Walkman and you push play, and that was the song you played. Or if you wanted to hit 3, 4, okay, I'll listen to track 5. Like those are the 2 albums. Like on the bus, like I listen to, I hear any of those songs, and I'm instantly on a bus, driving to Happy Valley or driving to Cedar Rapids to get on a plane, or going from Cedar Rapids to Kinnick, and I like that's I'm taken there, and Armageddon soundtrack, that's 1998, that came out the summer. I watched that movie 5 times because that was therapy for me when Mom passed away. It was 2.5 hours. I could sit in the movie theater that night or that summer. It was 2.5 hours that I didn't have to think about anything, and I could escape, and I could be with Harry Stamper, with Bruce Willis and all those guys, and gosh, what's Ben Affleck's character? Anyway, anyway, I can't. Anyway, so like that's where I go to, and I don't want to miss a thing with Aerosmith. Like that's like my whole, like it's a freaking soundtrack, dude. It's like I hear music, and it's I feel it. I love it, and I'm totally stalling, and I can't answer your question because it's I could listen. if you're up on stage and you're feeling your music and you're feel like, I'll feel it. Like I'll love it. Like
you're just an energy guy.
Like live music, like here's the thing. You can't freaking fake it. Like you can't fake it. If you're faking it, people will know. Like people will know. Like it's you can't fake that. You can't fake love football because you will get exposed at some point, at some level. It gets too hard, it gets too real, and it beats you. So you can't fake it. You can't fake it. Music, like you can't fake like that. Like, is it your song or are you singing someone else's song? There's a difference. Like, you better freaking sing it like it's your song, whether you wrote it or you didn't. You better, like, because I'm gonna know. Ooh. So it's
Guy really likes music. I didn't know that I didn't know music was so big.
I love it. Love it.
G-Bone, what do you got?
Yeah, Dallas, so I learned very recently that you were on an episode of Criminal Minds. And I was just curious, I wanted to know how that came to be and then what kind of your experience was like filming the show.
I took basic acting.
Yes.
In art and theater at Iowa, right? I mean, it's the best. It's the best. And obviously you take them as like, they're just kind of filling courses and it's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. And Tony Bingham was my teacher for art and theater. And we are still friends. He's from Pittsburgh and he's a freaking big Steelers fan. It's annoying, but we all make mistakes. And so he we connected. And so we stayed in touch and he kind of does like some small theater and he did some commercials and all that stuff out east. But just a great dude. And I fell in love with acting and I was like, it was pretty impressive. It was awesome. It was just like, holy crap. I never knew I would enjoy this so much. And so we're playing I can't remember who we're playing, but, oh my gosh. And I'm injured and I am in the locker room and he's gonna kill me. I've been doing so good with names.
It's all right. He's probably not listening to this show.
Oh geez, Vernon Cheeks. Vernon Cheeks, he's our PR guy, and he was friends with this guy who is a writer, Tyler. He was a writer for Criminal Minds. And so he was visiting and he was at the game and he was just like, hey, Vernon was like, hey, Dallas, I want to introduce your friend. And he's like, he writes for Criminal Minds. I'm like, get out. I'm like, hey, dude, if you ever get, if you ever run out of actors in Hollywood, give me a call. I took 2 classes at Iowa, art of theater, basic acting. So I'm basically, pretty much in.
Ashton Kutcher.
And he goes, just right behind him. And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm joking, but yeah. What he's like, if I write you into a scene, would you come out and shoot it to LA? I'm like, freaking say when. So that summer, sure enough, he held his end of the bargain. He wrote me in. Agent Kent, I think was my name. I was a San Diego detective, and I had 2 lines. And I was in for hair and makeup like at 6 a.m. in the trailer.
Yes.
And I kid you not, that scene was probably like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And that scene took from 7:30, I think we started shooting, to about 11:45, right before lunch. And it blew my mind. And it was so awesome because, so dumb. But I'm like, oh my gosh, so like when you're watching an episode and they're having a conversation and they cut back and forth to like the person who's talking and it's their point of view of like the person they're talking to. And all of a sudden, it's like the conversation is just generally flowing, right? And you're just like, how do they do that? Well, this is how they do it. And I'm sure everyone's like, duh, idiot. Of course, I apologize if I'm the only one in the room that found this out. But they set it up purposely where they had the new guy, me, and then some other fill-in detectives. All our lines, we were all on one side of the room. And it worked out perfect. And there's a reason why we shot our line first, because we're all like the newbies. We're all the ones getting paid for one day. and then all the contract stars are on this side of the camera. That they are, I kid you not, they're eating an apple with the script, and they feed us their line that we, that time us up with our line, and then we give our line. The director comes in, he's like, "All right, Dallas, say it, say this one a little more confident, Okay, and action." And Shamor would be reading his line, and he had a long line, and he's just sitting there, and it was awesome watching the pros be pros. And he's sitting there reading it, and then all right, Dallas, try it, and then he was like, then now he would be looking at me. And he would kind of like be learning his line, emphasizing those certain words, where I've been spending the last 2 months and, trying to figure out what word I emphasize in my 2 sentences, right? It's in front of the mirror, like, how do we, it's, like that Liberty guy, like,
yeah.
like, how do I, and so, and then, all right, and cut. After about an hour or whatever, we cut. I'm like, okay, what do we do now? Oh, just hang out. And then all of a sudden, like ants, like 200, over 100 people. I forget how many people. Like they said, we're on like 100 some people. Over like 150 people are on set. You don't know where they're at. All of a sudden, like the whistle blows. All of a sudden, these people come out like ants, and all of a sudden, everything is getting flipped. Like all of a sudden the cameras are switching over, the lights are switching over. And I'm sitting there like, just like mind blown. Like, oh my, like who is this person? Like, what is their job? Like, okay, he's like the lighting, and all of a sudden they're talking. I mean, it's like if you're like an idiot and you come into the football office and you're watching, meetings happen, and you're watching them watch film, and like, oh my gosh, I've never understood like what are they talking about? Like that's exactly what I was in this world.
It's amazing.
And so then all right, actors on your spots. And so now I was the cool guy, like kind of saying my line, because the cameras aren't on me now. Now I get to cue the real dudes and dudettes, and watching them come alive, and watching their like eyebrow, like it's just like, whoa, that was awesome. Because just 2 hours ago that you were just reading this, and now you're living this line. Like, it is awesome. And
see somebody else at the top of their game.
Oh man, watching it right in like front row seat. Like are you kidding me? Like, again, it's the walk. It's like, how is this happening? Like, what? How did I get here? This is ridiculous.
It's pretty cool.
And so then, all right, the scene's coming out, and you watch it, and you're like, holy shit! Like, that's like I got my SAG card. Like, I'm a freaking, and the residuals, like Friends actors, they will never have to worry about food again, because for like 2 years I would get residual checks for like this, for my 34 seconds or whatever I was. I mean, at first, because it was, that season was getting, replayed everywhere, in Hong Kong, in all these different countries and in cities. And so, I mean, I'm getting residual checks for like $340, $460, and I'm just like, what? Like, I had 2 lines. Like, and who's keeping track of this? Like, what is unreal? And then like time would go by, and I'd get, $14, $3, and then no checks. And now I'm doing some auditions, and I think I'm a waiter at Charlie's Diner. I got a new gig coming. So it was pretty cool. I actually did a scene this last summer down in Houston for a movie called Ick. I don't know where, but it has Brandon Roth, fellow Iowan, Mr. Superman. He's in it, and we're in the scene together, and I'm talking to him, and I got like 2 lines in that, and
Let's
it was
go.
awesome. Yeah, so I'm hoping that like praying that like gets to.
You're gonna kickstart a career here.
Yeah.
No, obviously I have like, I have a story, right? It's attractive, but here's the thing, like, I live in Iowa. Come on now. Like, I mean, it would like, okay, hey, son, I'm going to miss your baseball game because I'm going to be out in LA. Like, no, and granted, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I could do that. Like, I'm not saying that. I would love to give it a hell of a shot and give it a run, but I ain't going to miss I'm farming. I farm in Iowa back home. So I'm farmer, football coach. Cool with that. Let's watch these kids grow and then we'll see what happens.
Put it on the shelf. We'll see.
I might be a fine wine actor. I might need a little more white.
Eastwood was like what, 80? He's like 80, 85 years old. He's still active.
Exactly. Right? Like, I mean, come on. My window. I mean, is this the moneymaker? I don't know.
I don't know. It looks pretty good to me.
$3, $3.50. What is this? What does this get me in Hollywood?
I don't know.
I probably need to see a few doctors. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But no, it was that was a wild ride. And it was, and yeah, and that is a whole different world, and it was a wild ride the whole day. That was a fun experience, man.
Anything else, Jimo?
Yeah, I mean, you did play for some pretty iconic coaches, Coach Ferentz and Coach Dungy. You mentioned a similarity between them. I'm curious if you could contrast now then. Like, what's the biggest difference between playing for Coach Ferentz and playing for Coach Dungy?
Well, I mean, the ultimate contrast is there's a big difference between coaching college football and pro football, right? I mean, it is just a total different world. But I think it's a great question. I've always been asked the similarities. The contrast, I think the contrast would be, I think Coach, I don't know. I mean, Coach Ferentz might be like this, and if he was the head coach of a pro organization, but the biggest contrast in my experience was like Coach Ferentz was more hands-on in the data in the practice, like during practices. Coach Dungy, defensive-minded guy, so he would obviously hang out way more on the defensive side of things, of drills and things like that. And he just kind of let Tom Moore and Howard Mudd, our offensive line coach, and just kind of let us do our thing. But when Coach Ferentz, he was always down by the O-line. That is his passion. That is his happy place. And so he is always yelling or giving more instruction to the O-line position. And so he was down in those drills, one-on-ones and things like that, and yelling, hands back, or hands out, whatever, hands up, or just whatever, yelling, and coaching, way more hands-on, way more like just like love and passion, wanting to be involved. Where Coach Dungy is, he's very, just let coaches coach, and he would just kind of be a fly on the wall and just, would give his 2 cents, or, good catch, good route, whatever, good coverage, but not like into it, yelling and into a position. He wasn't back there, yelling at the DBs and, like his glory old days with the Steelers and things like that, so, so that, I would say that was like the biggest difference during practices. Coach Dungy just kind of would float, where Coach Ferentz was always like, if you want, just find the O-line, and he's probably not too far.
Bring your knees.
Too far behind him. Yeah. Oh, bring your knees. Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Run it again. Run it again.
Run it again.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Does that flash you back right there?
Tyler, you want to know what, like, one of my, like, and I told him this year. Like, okay, so blocks drill.
Yep.
Blocks drill to all the people that don't know. It's a
Car
drill
crash.
that's it's the Oklahoma drill with using offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and tight ends and linebackers. And basically what you do is you split the offensive and defensive line into 3 sections. So you got tackle, tight end on this section. In the middle, you have 2 guards, center, and then on the left side, you have the left tight end and a left tackle. And then you have a 7 technique, 9 technique, or a 7 technique, or a 7 technique outside linebacker on the right side. And then you have middle linebacker, nose tackle. And so it's basically just like, it's way advantage for the defense. But it's a drill that you run during training camp. It's full pads, and it is like, you find out quickly who wants to freaking hit. Are you ready to go? And it is just like, it's madness. Like, everyone's yelling, and it's just, and I mean, my heart rate just spiked, because I'm like, you have to get up. You bring it for this drill. Like, you bring it for this 10 minutes. And so I'm like, when I go to training camp, I can't remember how many years I've gone now, but like this year, like and Coach Ferentz, like, he's 60, I don't even know how old he is, but he is yelling. I mean, he gets fired up.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there, and it's a tight ends drill. I get it. I mean, we're going against the big uglies, big defensive ends, and we're not supposed to be able to block them. They ain't supposed to be. You can't get blocked by you can't, because we're just freaking piece of shit, right? Like, oh my gosh, just.
Of course.
And so it's just, I mean, it is just meathead, Neanderthal, everything awesome and glorious. And so, and I'm yelling, I'm like, bring your knees, like, hey, bring your second step, bring your feet, bring your knee, like, you're yelling all this stuff, hands, inside, it's, leverage, pad level, you're yelling all the shit, right? And it's awesome. Like, I'm standing right next to Coach Ferentz, and Coach Ferentz is yelling it, I'm yelling it, and like, in my head, I'm like, holy shit, I'm yelling, like, I'm coaching with Coach Ferentz right now. Like we're like, I mean, and like the drill gets over, and all right, get a break, and you always like get a water after that, because it's just, I mean, it's madness. And like, we break for water. I'm like, I told Coach, I'm like, Coach, I go, I can't tell you like how excited, I absolutely love that. Like getting to coach next, like, like, who'd have thought like 20 years from now, from like getting yelled at by you, and like wanting your approval, like wanting to hear you, like, good job, Dale. Like that's all you want, right? Like approval from your teammates, from your coaches. And here I am now, like we're like, Yoda and just, the young Jedi, like I'm like, we're passing that on to like the next, like, here's our new generation, right? Like, these are the next guys. And like, to be able to, like, it's like 2 worlds like that should never like collide, should never like be like this. Like it was that moment where I'm like, holy crap, this is the coolest thing. I never thought in my college career that I would get to like coach next to Coach Ferentz and feel that fire, feel that energy, feel that like oh, come on, and then also that disappointment when a kid, like, oh God, just you're hoping that was the day where he was just gonna let it go, just stop thinking, just to freaking go do it, and we all have those kids, we have those teammates, like, you just know, like damn it, like, why, I just, but that separates, like that's there's a lot of things that's just, it's not easy. And so like, just like
blocks drill's the one too. Blocks drill's the one drill that'll
it's to be able to coach, or to be able to like just like guy that, a man that you just like, it's pretty much the coolest thing ever. Like, it's just to be able to like kind of be on that level of like, holy crap, I can't believe, like, this is cool. It's that's special.
Well, it was special to have you on the show tonight. we could clearly, I think everyone can hear it in the conversation. I swear to God, I would go till 8 a.m, but
you can't break me, Tyler. You cannot.
No, I know.
Like we might lose like people like man, he likes to hear himself talk. And here's the thing.
Hey, we went past that a long time ago. I've talked for
Did we?
Dude, people lost interest in hearing me talk like 300 episodes ago. So the fact that they still, man,
I'm worried about this. I'm worried about this episode where like, good Lord, are we doing all 501 here? Like what? I do apologize. And here's the thing.
I hope that your family is on the other side of the house, because you have been yelling with the energy of Block's drill, and I'm like, oh my God, there's no way they're sleeping in that house.
Dude, we're good. It's not surprising. Like it's just like it when you talk about this stuff, like and that's what I want. Like I'm not. I hope I don't come across like, this is my fear of like it's not about me.
It doesn't truly, come across that like at all.
Well, and it's like it truly is like that is the thing that you learn about this game, is that like it's your teammates that you don't see for years, and unfortunately I don't do social media. I don't know why. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But like, I just don't do social media, and it sucks because that is a way to keep in touch. And so like when I see you, like I have no idea like what, so there's nothing better than like hugging an old teammate. Like, where are you at? Like, what are you like? What you got 2 kids? Like, oh my gosh, this is your, oh my God, you just look, and so like, it's like, I like keeping it real of, and that's where like this whole social media, it's just like, I think you lose like that genuine like sincerity of friendships and love and like truly like when you see someone and meet someone and be like, wow, I want to know, because I don't know. Like I didn't sit for 3 hours on the couch and flip through your storybook line or whatever it's called, and I don't know. Like, tell me, like, what's going on, So, and it's awesome to reconnect with, like when we come back for these reunions and things like that, or heck, this year, we'll be in Canton again for Dwight Freeney just got put into the Hall of Fame, and so like to go back and like to see the old get the band back together, like it's just like when I saw his name announced, I'm like, selfishly, I'm like, freaking A, like I get to see Bob Sanders, like, because that's like Bob Sanders will come out for the Hall of Fame. Like
he'll come out of hibernation.
He will come out of hibernation. I mean, and it'll be like, Bob, and I'll have the same freaking conversation. Like, Bob, give me your number right now. Stop, shut up. Give me your number right now. Put it in my phone. Call me. Like,
I'm gonna get Bob for episode 1000. I'm gonna find him.
Dude, no.
I'll go out to Arizona and I'll find him.
No, we need to get him sooner than that, because like I won't have his number for that. But this August I will have his number. So
let's have him do he can do the Ironman with us.
Dude, he would. He would probably swim in one breath. Like, I mean, just like
he'd be tackling people during the run.
He sent me. So when we came back, I forget what we were back for. I don't even want to say the year, whatever the year was for the Big Ten championship year. So that was 02. So that was maybe it's 12. Oh, good God. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's no, because anyway, I don't know what year it was, but we got together. It was the last time I saw him, and we stayed in touch because I was like, same thing. I'm like, dude, give me your number. So like we had text back and forth. He sent me this video. I kid you not. He sent me this video. He's working out, and he's sitting on a bench, and he has a box in front of him.
Yep.
And I don't even know what the height was, but it looked like it was taller than him. And I kid you not, he's sitting there. And it's it's that I forget what eccentric, or not eccentric, but it's just
static.
that static. Yes, thank you, Todd. Static, and he's sitting there, and it's like, say when, right? Like boom, and he jumps up, and it was like the video was in slow motion, and it was just like
levitation.
Dude, he didn't stop. Right? It's just like, okay, he'll come down. He'll come down. Oh, good God, no, he doesn't. And he just, and it's just like, and like, so it's that whole thing. Like when you're like, look, you say you're like, oh gosh, it looks like you stuff. I'm like, he could still kill people. Like he could still, like, it is like it sucks. It's his knee.
Yeah.
Like, but it's awesome. It's awesome that he's still being able to, like, do these things, because like mentally, like he needs this release. He needs to do this stuff, and so it was awesome to. But it was just it was a special moment where I'm like, damn, like that's Bob.
Still got it.
That's Damon Sanders right there. So it is the best. So yeah, so it's that's what football is about. That's what people love hearing the stories, and did we even talk about a freaking game? Did we even talk about a play? Like like it's just those things are great, but like hell, this summer, like our someone texted me and is like, hey, your championship AFC championship game's on TV with the Patriots. I'm like, oh sweet. So I turned over to it, and the kids and I were watching it, and we watched maybe 2 plays, and they're like, oh, you see, Dad, is that you? I'm like, yeah, that's me. Oh, cool. And we watched a couple more plays, and they're like, hey, Dad, can we watch America's Funny Homes videos? Can we switch back to that? I'm like, yep, okay, that's a wrap. Okay, that just puts you into place. But they don't care. It's just awesome. It's just and granted, I'm not sitting there like, hey, kids, watch me on. Maybe I'll get to that.
That's where that not getting complacent comes in, because you have to prove that you're a Super Bowl level dad instead of a Super Bowl level football player.
And that's probably why the Iron Man and all that stuff is like, like, oh,
I feel it.
There, don't, I'm not gonna sit here and like wear my ring and like, oh yeah, this whole thing. Let me tell you, kids, get close, Ron. Let me tell you a story. Like it's
Grandpa Dallas.
It's like, hey, I am going to kick your ass as long as
your kids are screwed, dude.
I'm gonna stay ahead of you, and I will not let I don't let them win.
Ever.
And I'm sure there's I'll play with them a little bit, but my kids are getting older, and I'm getting older, and it's like, ooh boy, I'm kind of seeing where
the day's coming.
It's coming. It's getting. And what'd you say? How did you have an 18? What'd you say? 18?
I have a 14-month-old daughter. Yeah.
14-month daughter. So you're in the not the best, but it's
pretty great. It's pretty great.
But personalities are coming out. She's probably she's like you're it's and what and I'm sure you've heard 8,000 advices, but like it's serious. Like whoever has told you that, it just like every chapter you're like, oh gosh, it doesn't get better than this.
You think it can't get better, and it does. Yeah.
Exactly. It just does. It's just like, oh my gosh, don't grow out of this. Like, this is the best. And then it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm like telling you jokes, and like you're like laughing at me, and like, oh gosh, you're telling me jokes.
I love it.
It's you'll enjoy the ride, man. It's the best.
I appreciate the advice. I appreciate you coming on the show again. We'll have to sit down and do it again, because there's a million more things to talk about. But sounds like we've got some training to do in the off season here, and
dude,
we appreciate the 2 hours that you gave us. Thank you everybody for listening. A little bit of a marathon. Hopefully you got through it all.
Yeah. Hopefully they didn't cramp. Hopefully you guys hydrated.
Yeah. Get your electrolytes for this podcast, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.